the fact is that I'm a terrible gamer, you know. I don't know how to be awful. The guy that's always hitting a wall, tung, tung, and then move a little, and hit another wall. And so I desist, you know, of playing games a long time ago. But I have a son that, but when I started working in The Last of Us, he was in his mid-teens and he was very good. And I always enjoy watching him play, you know, like I would sit down and watch him play and I always thought, you know, if somebody at certain point connects with a gamer in a more emotional way, you know, has a more soulful connection aside of killing and you know the survival and fighting and you know and all that stuff, it's going to be a revolution. It really is going to change all this, you know, because I was aware that there was nothing like that, you know. And suddenly Neil appeared and he told me the story of The Last of Us, and he also pointed out that he was looking to connect with the gamer in that level, you know. So I got to work into it. It was very organic, you know. I had total freedom to do whatever I felt. I worked really very in a very primitive, primal, instinct driven way. You know, it's not there's not a lot of reasoning behind. Lots of times, what happened to me is that I do things and then I kind of rationalize them and I go, ah, okay. Then I realize that all this low end and all this thing that was connected to the male side of the story, to Joel and all that part, and then the Ron Rocco with this fragile sound and stuff was Ellie's world, you know. But you know, when I did it, I didn't thought about it. But then it came to me, ah, and when we learned that people were crying playing the game, you know, I mean, it was a confirmation, you know, that yes, I mean, this was really happening. Whatever, I mean, the vision that I had and what you know Neil had in his mind, it was something that was functioning and that everybody was connecting. So it's been something that I always felt somehow that it was going to be successful. I had that feeling. It wasn't a surprise in a way. I mean, the size of the success, probably not that it was gonna be so huge, but I always knew that somehow it was going to it was going to be a game changer, no pun intended, but it was going to change the whole landscape, you know, and the music too, because it was so different of any other thing, you know. Craig and Neil have mentioned, you know, that they said that my music is part of the DNA of The Last of Us, you know, and I think it's so connected, you know, the music to the story and to the characters. So just put all this together, you know, we rehearse it, we connect really with the musicians. And although I was aware that these musicians, and I told them, you know, that they're incredible musicians, the same probably caliber of musicians that we're going to have in London, and they're used to play much more complex music and stuff, but we really connected from a heart and soul level, you know, to the music, and it really felt like a band. From when we went on stage, we just felt that we were a unit. It wasn't two guys with an orchestra behind, right? And uh, and the concert, I mean, it started, you know, with a great reception and stuff, but in the middle of the concert, after one of the, we got a standing ovation, standing ovation in the middle of the concert. That was for me very emotional. I just couldn't believe that this is happening in the middle of a concert, right? And then by the end, it was just incredible. I mean, we had three anchors, and believe me, I mean, we could have kept on going.
Was it interesting when they did the second game that they've kind of put you in there as a character? What was that like?
Amazing. But then I think is because the love that people have give me for for the music. You know what I mean? I always talk about this. I've been blessed with uh, being able to connect with my music since a very early age. But the fans of the music of The Last of Us it's a totally different thing. I mean, they have devotion for the music. The connection that I feel they have with the music is so strong. The stories that I get from them, people that have been sick and that have been, getting better through my music, or people that have played my music in the most unusual moments, I mean, really beautiful stories. And I think it was all this love that ended up saying, we should put Gustavo somehow in the game, I mean, I couldn't believe it, but it's there. I am there.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's like the fact that you can uh, sit there and like play guitar in the game is pretty cool as well. I can't think of many other games that have done something like that.
It's incredible. But also, I mean, Neil is, is a genius. Neil is another level, and I think now also with the addition of Craig in for the what is the HBO, the series side of it, because I truly believe The Last of Us is such a big work that it can be like any good story, like a Shakespearean story and stuff. You could do it in a puppet theater. You can do it, as a commedia dell'arte. You can do it, in an animation. You can do it in all sorts of different formats and things. And I think Craig has been great to complement to Neil to get it to this the format of a series. But I really think that The Last of Us has the potential to be done in many different ways.
It's kind of one final thing. I know obviously they're very secretive about the next game that Naughty Dog's going to make and the next series that HBO is going to make. But kind of from your perspective of the music, is it interesting to keep going back to the well? Are there things you still want to do with the music of The Last of Us, or how do you kind of keep finding inspiration to keep kind of adding on top?
I'd love to continue to explore the universe of The Last of Us because I think there's tons of stuff to be tapped into, so I know that we have a second season of The Last of Us, and it's a continuation of the story. But that's as much as I can talk about, and it's as much that I know. And if I knew something else, I couldn't tell it anyhow. So, but of course, I am looking forward to continue. I feel that I'm a part of that story. So whatever happens, I'll be there.